Hello, bass family, and welcome to Everything Bass. Had some requests to talk about my method, which is common to most people, of how to palm mute and some of the ways I've learned to do it over the years. So palm muting is a way of, instead of having the string be highly resonant, is to put your hand down and get a kind of a more muted, shorter sustained note that's a little bit warmer, well, a lot warmer. So a couple things that I always suggest when students ask me about this is you want to get used to being able to keep the ridge of your hand here onto the bridge. And I try to get as close to the saddles as possible. Now I'm not pushing down hard. I'm just literally resting it there. If you move forward, you'll get more of a mute sound. Like listen to this. If I'm on the actual string, not on the bridge at all, it's pretty clunky. Not much resonance at all. And I've used it very rarely, but as you start moving your hand back, and like I can just now feel my hand touch the saddles a little bit, becomes a little more resonant. And of course, if I just put my hands right on the saddles and just kind of rock it back and forth, I get the most resonance without being a fully open string. Now let's talk about my plucking. When I first started doing this, is because actually I saw Sting do it on, I want to say Saturday Night Live. And I saw him, or no, maybe it was Letterman. Anyway, I saw it many, many moons ago. And he was playing bass, and he was just using his thumb. And I thought, wow, that's a cool sound. And he was palm muting. So I just started doing that. But I kind of felt like I wanted to add other rhythms, play a little quicker, maybe even treat it a little bit like I would slap and pop. So I started using my index finger, and hopefully you guys can see this. So I'm using my thumb and my index finger. And you can do one string, separate strings, go all the way across. Yeah, if I go to the G, I usually actually bring my middle finger in and do it that way. So you can start, but if you want to get this down, first of all, before you try to do anything, practice where it sounds the best to you. Basses are all different, bridges are all different. So just kind of put it there. Resist the urge to really push down, because that's just painful and it's unnecessary. I just lightly rest my hand. Most of actually my arm weight is supported on the top of the bass with my forearm, and I'm just kind of like draping my the side of my hand right onto the saddle. And then start, just kind of getting a sound. Maybe just do that. So you can get a good consistent thumb and index finger, eighth note kind of line. Just one note. Next is whatever scales or arpeggios you're practicing that day, practice them standard, but then also practice them this way. Like if you're going to practice, let's just do D-Doring. And just learn how you have to maybe like you noticed if you guys are watching my right hand, I actually slid down a little bit to be able to play the G string notes and then slid back. Secondarily, come up with a simple bass line. Make up your own. Like when I first started, I did a simple thing with the octaves and minor sevenths. I just went like. Now, one of the little tricks I like to do is, and I borrow it from kind of my slapping technique, is if I'm just playing a simple line and I want to put a little bit of an accent to kind of set up the next downbeat, I'll just do a muted click. I'll go. I just kind of dig it. So, yeah, just start by initially getting a good tone. Get your mechanics down of alternating with your thumb and the index finger. Some of you guys, if you want to get more adventurous, there are, you could do like using both those together, but I would start with one. You know the way I teach, if you're familiar with this channel, I like to get one thing perfected or as close to perfected and then add an element that's new and then add an element and kind of work my way up. And then of course run it through scales and arpeggios. If there's other bass lines you already know, that are standard, use standard technique, try see what they sound like using palm muting. In a live situation, I play a lot in my church's worship band, and there's a lot of times where they'll bring the dynamics really quiet for various reasons. Someone's talking over it, or it's just that part of the song. And I'll go to palm muting during that. to just bring it really quiet, kind of give a mood that's different from the rest of the song. So anyway, I encourage you to check it out. Of course, if you have any other questions about palm muting, and maybe you want me to do a palm muting too, the son of palm muting video, just let me know in the comments below. I encourage it. If you have a cool groove you've written with your palm muting technique, man, videotape it and share it with us on our Facebook group, which is go to Facebook, search Everything Bass with Dale Titus. You just follow it, jump in, say, hey, how you doing? I just watched this video and I wanted to share one of my grooves. I would love it. And honestly, I can speak for pretty much, I think, all of our bass family members. We all love that, man. When people show videos of them, trying one of the techniques out, it just edifies us all. It grows. It makes us all grow. And so be encouraged. I'd love to see what you guys come up with it. So today, when I was coming up with the encore item for this, I thought back about how I saw Sting play this technique. I thought, that'd be a neat kind of thing, is pay homage to the guy who kind of got me on this path. So I looked through his entire work with early The Police, and then of course the solo albums. And then there was one album that blew my mind, and it was actually from his solo band, and it was his live album, Bring on the Night. And that was done in 1986. But I have to tell you, so when I first started working at Musicians Institute, I became friends with a keyboard instructor there named Soleil Brewer, and he would always be bringing it. He introduced me to so many great albums. So Soleil, thank you, brother. But I remember he brought in, and he's an amazing keyboard player, and he brought in this on cassette, popped it in, and the opening track, which is actually like a 2-song medley, it's Bring on the Night, and it goes When the World is Running Down. I gotta tell you, the energy of this band. Now, to be fair, Daryl Jones is the bass player. So at this point, Sting was separating himself for one reason or the other. Just as a frontman, he was playing guitar a lot more, and he hired Daryl Jones to play bass. And this band was smoking Omar Hakim on drums. Omar Hakim on drums, one of my absolute favorite drummers in the world. To hear these guys together were brilliant. And this is going to be a really weird tangent. That song has probably one of my favorite solos of all time that's not a bass solo, and it's the piano solo. The piano solo is pure fire. When you have a song that's got this kinetic energy and the energy level is on 1 billion, and then you launch into solo, he just goes nuts, man. And I mean, it has influenced me. I'm always trying to capture that element when I'm doing a solo that's a high energy solo. So I encourage you to check it out. The whole album's phenomenal. Well, I'm not going to go through it. I wrote down a bunch of songs, but you guys just check it out. I do love when iTunes first came out, and I started replacing cassettes I had or LPs I had, because I didn't have a record player for many years, and didn't even have a cassette player. So I was trying to replace them. I thought, I want to get that song. I want to get that opening track, because that song. I mean, the whole album is great, but I was on a little bit of a budget, and I just thought I need that song because I really wanted to hear it again. And at the time, the iTunes store, you had to buy the album to get that song. Every other song you could buy individually, but that one song was exclusive to buying the album. Oh, I bought the album. I figured I didn't have to drink any sodas that week and it'd pay itself off. So anyway, so there you have it. Palm muting as a technique, I love it. I just think it adds a whole nother kind of palette of colors without having to buy any effects or anything. You're just using your tools a little differently. And of course, the encore item, Bring on the Night by Sting and his amazing band. Guys, thank you so much. I love that you come by. I love that you trust in me to share ideas with you. And it would mean the world to me if you could like, share, and subscribe to this video. Just hit the subscribe button if you're not already a subscribing member. It's free. That's free. Just subscribe and then hit the little bell icon and you'll be notified every time I post videos. And then, of course, if you do want any of the support materials, now this video doesn't have them, but other videos I do, most other videos, will have some kind of written materials or audio tracks to accompany them. And if you want to get those, consider going to our Patreon account, which is patreon.com/everythingbass, and become a Backstage Pass member. Backstage Pass member basically means that you have access to every video I've ever done and all the sheet music to it. It also allows you to get back to navigate the videos a little easier if you're having a hard time finding one you've watched previously. And of course, if you don't feel you need the written materials, then it'd be great if you could just throw $1 in the tip jar. There's a little thing where you can tip me $1. All those things add up to help me keep the lights on here at the studio. Oh, and lastly, kind of just let me know what you think. And there's no time limit on this, meaning that no matter, like, if you see this video 5 years from now, would you like me to do a series of palm muting grooves? You can either message me directly by emailing me at dtitus@daletitus.com, or just mention in the comments below that, yeah, you would like me to maybe give you some examples of some different palm muting grooves, because I would love doing them. I think they're awesome. All right, guys, thank you so much for stopping by. You guys mean the world to me, and I'll see you at the next video.